the secret sauce. Toastmasters, the secret sauce.
Have any of you ever had an aha? Like an inspirational thought? This is yes. Here's the question though. When you have that inspirational idea, did you think about it a little bit later and go, what was that? Maybe you don't want to put your hand down. But sometimes we forget them. Capture the epiphanies. Capture those inspirational thoughts that you have. Your subconscious is wanting to deliver these brilliant thoughts. Just when you wake up in the morning, just when you're in the shower, just when you're out for a run. How do you capture them? In Sartori's book, Synchronicity, the Entrepreneurial Edge, she says, if you have an inspirational thought, take 5 minutes to mind map it. Think about it. Put it away for a second. And then take some action within 24 hours. If you only took that one secret and applied it to Toastmasters, you would have a brilliant career. Mr. Chairman, fellow Toastmasters, contestants. Yes, Toastmasters has the opportunity to be the secret sauce. I was thinking about that recently because Dr. Charles Garfield did the research on the characteristics of high-level performers. And what he found is that we all have these characteristics, but we have to capture them. Toastmasters gives you the opportunity to drill deep with these characteristics. I'm going to talk about 3 characteristics of high-level performers that you can apply to Toastmasters. Toastmasters becomes your laboratory, your vehicle for great performance. The first is tap into your frontal lobe. The second is learn to master time effectively. And the third one is be prepared to take risks and challenge adversity. The frontal lobe is talked a lot about in Dispenza's book, Evolve Your Brain, Change Your Mind. Some of you may have heard of the recent material on brain plasticity. The brain has the chance to re-channel and create new neurons. In fact, what he said, it was interesting, he said, we were told when we were young, we had too many tequilas, we killed off all those brain cells. Well, actually, you can regenerate them. That was the best part of the book when I read it. But it's the frontal lobe that's there, and it's been developed either by our Creator or through evolution to be the place you run the visions, where you picture your preferred future. Again, a characteristic of a high-level performer is they have foresight and the ability to carry out long-range planning. Does it work? Many different studies have shown that it works, but I love the one in Dispenza's book. They took a group of young people, and they had them exercise one finger, find out what their strength was. And then one group practiced exercising for five weeks. The other group only visualized that finger getting stronger, and the third group didn't do anything. Here's the startling result. At the end of the study, the group that had exercised had improved their strength 30%. The group that had only visualized it improved 20%. Can you imagine if in your Toastmasters you will use this technique of tapping in to your frontal lobe? You have all the opportunities in the world. Time mastery is a key characteristic of high-level performers. They know what they want to get done, and they make sure they get it done on time. They set their goals and follow up. In Halverson's book, Succeed, she talks about a study that was done that just turned her life around. She was sitting there as an undergraduate listening to this study. And what it was the university students were asked, would you write a paper on how you spent your Christmas holidays? They said, sure. Will you get it in within 48 hours? Sure. But then they took half of them aside and they said, will you write down when you're going to do it and where you'll be? Boom. The end of the study, the end of the 48 hours, believe it or not, the group that hadn't written anything down, they 31% got it in. But listen to this, 71% are just writing it down and saying where you'll be. If you are going to be excellent in your Toastmasters, where are you going to be when you prepare your next speech? What are you going to do? Write it down. The final characteristic is adversity. Some of you, years ago, we used to think IQ was a key element for success. Then many people came up with EQ. How many of you know what EQ, heard of EQ? Oh, wow, what an audience. Emotional quotient. But what about AQ? Oh, Ray Travers knows about AQ. Well, you're Carly, yeah, okay. But AQ is adversity quotient, and the fellow I interviewed, Yoshida Hori, he said that's the key ingredient to success. Now, when you talk about adversity quotient, in the book Adversity at Work, he talks about 3 kinds of people. Quitters, nobody in here, and campers, and then climbers. Campers are the ones that get to the campground, and that's it. They set up the Winnebago and the campfire. The climber gets to the campground and he goes down and he said, where can I do some more climbing? You have to be prepared to take risks. When I was a consultant with the government of British Columbia, my job was to allocate money to the various sports. One of the sports was parachute jumping. And I told them how much money they were going to get. And then I said, could I observe your BC parachute jumping championship? They said, Vic, we'll do you one better. You can jump. Ooh. How does this characteristics of high-level performers go? High-level performers say, what's the worst thing that can happen to you, and are you prepared to accept the result? So there I was, kneeled down in this airplane, kneeling down. As we're going up, I'm a little afraid of heights, and the door's right there. And finally I'm out sitting on the edge. I'm not going to show you that part. And I finally jumped. And I found out why people take risks. You get an endorphin release, and in Fox's book, The Biology of Optimism, he says you need to take risks to get the endorphin release to guarantee our survival. And then I got thinking about it after. Isn't it amazing? I'm sitting on a parachute plane, sitting there, I've got 2 parachutes on, and guess what? I'm afraid of falling out. If you want to take risks, you can't be afraid of falling out. You must be prepared to challenge yourself by taking risks. That's why I took on this adventure today to be your guest speaker. Mr. Contest Chairman.